Welcome to the Rebel Matriarch Podcast. My name is Samantha Sanford and I am your host, and I want to invite you into this session with an open heart and an open mind, because this is not just a podcast. It is a global movement, a global uprising, and this is a representation of what is truly possible and available to women today. Hello, gorgeous human beings, and welcome to the Rebel Matriarch Podcast. My name is Samantha Sanford, and I am going to be bringing a guest in today who will be kind of like a soul sister. I feel like we have a lot of similar values, and I'm really looking forward to this conversation. So I'm really excited to bring Julia, who is a movement architect and the founder of Sovereign Mamas, which it's just like, I feel so aligned with this conversation. And so thank you so much for being here on the podcast with me today.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, the work that you're doing is so incredible and it's so important. And I really feel like it's centering us back into matriarchal principles, which is like 1000% what I'm here for. But for those of us who don't know you and what it is that you do exactly, could you give us some insights?
Yes, sure. And by the way, I love too the fact that we're in such alignment and doing the same thing with slightly different names on it, but it just always gives me so much joy to see how, this is work that's needed, and there is women who stand up for it and they go and lead and just do it. And we are changing, like one movement at a time. We're changing our society, and we're creating a new path for the next generation. And this is basically what I'm really here to do. I feel very much called to bring this forward because it feels so much bigger than myself. Honestly, I've done a lot of work, spiritually, personal development work, and each time I have sessions with oracles or record readings and stuff, it always comes to the same conclusion that I am being called forward to just like be that vessel. So it is not even about my story. It is not even about me, who I am, but I'm here to help other women. I'm creating stages and a space and, to share their stories and their wisdom, because this is the ripple, right? The more women, and I think you do the same with your podcast, the more women you let speak about their stories, you are creating like an enhancement, an amplifier. We're all doing this together so that others can hear us, others can see, and oh, we're not alone. And that's the whole point of it. We're doing this so that we're kind of unifying and calling forward those who are feeling it already in their soul and in their bones. And all we do is we bring it to the surface, and we actually put some light on and say, no, there are women out there who are, we're rock stars. We're all rock stars, but who's applauding us? Maybe the fly on the wall, but there's not a lot of attention to the fact that you're raising children, you're also building an impactful legacy business, and you're also like working on yourself. You're devoting yourself to becoming the version that actually does all that is necessary to do it. And it's so incredible. And I've been like on this path of becoming the version who I am today. I've met so many incredible women, and know that we have this, like there's this sweet spot. And I don't mean it in a way that I want to, everyone has their purpose here. And so even if you're not that specific woman that I'm now talking about, it doesn't mean that you're any less important or special. But I feel like when you talk to mompreneurs, like those who are really not only running a business, but also leading a movement and here for more, that is, it's so unique and so special. So I didn't answer your question who I am, but I kind of like went all full in on what I stand for and why I'm doing what I'm doing. And so how I got here, maybe, so I'm originally from Germany, and I did basically throughout my whole life, I did a little bit of both. I did play by the books and was always kind of like an outcast, a rebel. I could always sense like I'm different, and kind of like, no, this is not. I even got a call, like my mom got a call when I was in elementary school from my teacher, and he was like complaining about the fact that I wasn't following instructions. And so, I was doing it my way, he said, and Julia is always like coming up with new ways of doing it. And it was an art class, right? So I was holding the brush in a different way. So it's like,
How dare you? Creative
wow.
expression? What do you mean?
I mean, come on. And so, and I'm applauding my mom for her response, because she was like, not even, she was saying something like, oh, good on her. I love how she brings in her own way and creativity, and totally like cut him off.
Oh, I have tingles. I love your mum. Thank you,
Yeah,
mum. That was amazing.
I know, right? Um, but saying this, I could feel that how like my upbringing, my family is very much traditional. I grew up in a very small village in a rural area in Germany, in southern Germany. And so being different there is very difficult, because you're immediately like on.
Spotted out.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So it was never really easy to actually find myself until I then stepped out, and I had this inside of me since I was little. I needed to be out in the world. I could feel like the minute I graduated from high school, I was sitting in an airplane to the United States, because I felt like I needed to be far away in order to be able to express myself. And so I was there for a year. I did like the nanny thing, traveled a lot, and just got a taste of what it is like outside of my little village bubble where I was growing up. And then that led to so many series of events. So I basically traveled. No, first I was at university, and then I did the career thing by the books, and that never really felt. Yeah.
What career did you go into?
So I studied language, English and Spanish and literature, and my idea was just simply to have a tool and access to the world. So this was the only reason. I wanted to just speak two of the main languages on this planet, so that I could find a job later on outside in the world. So that was always my goal. And then I found a very traditional job in Germany after university in a PR and marketing agency, which had like, we did campaigns and events for them, for the clients of them. And it was very cultural, like German based. And after nearly 5 years, I say, working in that agency, and becoming quickly also the leader of the department, and having like a lot of like responsibility, I did feel like a 50-year-old manager. My bank account was full. I had a business car. I had 2 phones. I was always on events. I was working weekends. I was working nights, and I was feeling really like, oh my gosh, adult. Like, this is adulthood. I've arrived, but I don't like it. What am I
Yeah.
doing here?
Yeah,
So,
there's no soul here.
oh, there's no soul. It was so soul sucking, actually. And I then, didn't read the sign, or didn't allow them to really surface, and faced near burnout syndrome when I just didn't stop where I was where it was necessary. And one of my best friends came back from a sabbatical from Mexico, and she said, Julia, you look like shit. And I said, oh, okay, well, you look wonderful. And she was just like putting this idea into my head, because she said, this trip changed me, and I know it's going to affect my life. Why don't you just go travel for a bit? And I said, yeah, but that's crazy. Why would I go travel now that I feel like I'm at the peak of my career. I feel like I've made it somehow to a level where I now could step up even more. I could create my own agency and stuff like that. And so it was an insane moment to propose this to me. And also with the things that I've been brainwashed basically since my whole life, you kind of have to follow a certain path so that you can get somewhere. And yet I did not ignore her advice. And then a couple of weeks later, I actually quit my job. I sold everything and I bought a one-way ticket. And I said to my friends and family, I'll be back in about 6 weeks. And I never returned. So that was at the beginning of me then traveling for a decade, meeting the father of my children on the road, have 2 children, and built an online business in a nutshell. And now can we pause real quick?
Yes. All right. So we actually had some real life shenanigans. This is what I love about the work that I do. And then I get to work with and have these conversations with incredible women and mothers, is that we're doing it in real time. And one of your kids came in to ask a question, and I was just like, this is awesome. Because as your son came in, I could hear my little girl banging on my door saying, Mama, Mama. And I was like, oh, this is it, right? It's like, this is what I love about working with women and witnessing women and having conversations with women such as yourself and hearing your journey and hearing your story, because it's like, despite what's going on, despite what's happened, there's this inner knowing or this inner compass that is like, no matter what, I got to keep going and I got to keep moving forward, even when, and especially when you have no idea where this is going. And you have no idea where it's taking you. And for you as well, you said you spent a decade traveling, like you never went back home. When you left, right? You said 6 weeks, and then a decade later, you still haven't returned back home. And now you've got 2 children, and you're creating these incredible movements. You mentioned that you were hosting retreats. Is that something that you're doing as well?
Yes. So yeah, and I actually would like to say something about this, because I feel the biggest skill or muscle that you can train when it comes to creating I'm gone again.
It's okay. It's real time,
Um,
guys.
yes. So yeah, I think what's really important here, and a skill or a muscle that is worth training, is truly this believing and holding your vision. And I don't even know how to explain it because there's so many nuances to it. But I'm sure everyone who's listening and who is an entrepreneur and has built something, when you look back, it's this phase where you don't know yet if it's going to work out, or where you don't know yet what and how it's going to work out. And this is where a lot of people then also change, or do something completely different, because there's no proof yet. It's like, it's the principle of manifestation, right? So you have to trust, and you have to lean back and surrender and say, no, it's happening. I just cannot see it right now. And when you're this visionary mompreneur, knowing exactly that you're here for more, and you're creating something that is something so special. And I think when you're in connection with other women who are doing the same, who get this, who are here to cheer you on, even though they also don't really see it, that is gold. So find your sisterhood, find your people, and simply allow yourself to feel this. And this is also why when I when this movement came through me. So when the Sovereign Mamas movement came through me, it was actually during a time of my life where this didn't feel right at all. Like, it didn't make sense at all. it felt right, but it didn't make sense. So this is how I need to put it, because we were living in Thailand back then. You know, we had our established routine. Kids went to school. I had my friend circle. You know, I was actually in a place where I could see a lot of flow and momentum going in our life. However, a few of the areas of our life didn't really flow. And I ignored those. I said, oh, well, I'll fix it later. And that never really works, right? It always backfires when you ignore the things that you pay attention to. And then I sat in meditation one morning and I had this full download. Like, I swear, I had the entire movement downloaded in one sit. And I was so like overwhelmed with all the details that came through. So I went and opened my Canva and I just put on a huge like this mind map Canva, and I put all the details that came through me onto this paper. And then I looked at it and said, so what am I doing now with this? Like, this is a project. This is bigger than a project. I don't have time for this. Like, I'm running a group coaching program. I'm also doing one-on-one session. I have done for you clients. I don't know where to fit that in. Plus, I'm about to, I was moving out. I was again moving houses. And anyways, it was so strong that I just knew I needed to put some time into this. And by this, I mean, it's the Sovereign Mama's brand, right? So it all came all at once. And then it coincided also with something that my son went through at school. And then suddenly I heard we have to move to Bali, which didn't make sense at all either, because I had been to Bali before as a traveler, right? And the last time I came here, I told myself, okay, this was the last time. Bali is too crowded for me. I don't actually think I want to come back again. And now I'm getting this message, okay, you have to move there. I was like, oh my gosh, okay, so I have to move to Bali. I have to build and create a second business, or what is that?
And you have 2 little kids?
And I have 2 little kids, and I'm on my own, right? So I've been single mama since nearly 5 years now. So it was all a little bit much.
It's just a little bit of, just a short
bit of
list of things to do. Not much. Yeah, you got this.
Yes. Like, it's never dull, right? That's what we say.
Never. Yeah.
And then the funny thing was, I presented the idea to some women that I was in conversation with, and I made a mistake. I'm also a manifesting generator as human design. And I don't know who's familiar with this, but when you are this type of human design, then you can hold a lot of balls in the air. And you can also comprehend the steps to get there and see the steps. And you kind of want to fill people in immediately on all the details, which I did, which then backfired, because other people might not be able to digest everything at once. Like, they don't want to eat the whole buffet. They want to eat piece by piece. And so this was really interesting, because I was, then learning something about myself, that when I have these big picture visions, I just need to keep them to myself and assemble them bit by bit. And so the podcast was something that I started out of the kitchen table, or from the kitchen table, out of the kitchen of my friend's house, where we was transitioning before we moved then to Bali, packing boxes and doing all the things. And just one question: do you hear my son?
I do not. No.
You do not hear it. Okay. Okay. Oh my gosh.
This is real life, though. I really appreciate this. This is a reflection of the kind of woman that you are. It's like, even you're frustrated and you just want to get it done, and your mind is going, and then it's interruption, and then you like deep breath and okay, we keep going because that's just
Yeah. So yeah, I just hope it's not gonna be very fragmented. But I was talking about the podcast that I started from the kitchen table.
yeah.
Okay. Um, so yeah, I did the first few episodes literally in the middle of the night because of time differences. And the reason why I'm going in detail so much about how the Sovereign Mamas movement was born is to give an example of how crazy things are behind the scenes sometimes. And I feel not always you actually get to see this. And when you then you go on social media, or you see the beautiful websites, or you meet the person who's done it, how do you comprehend what they went through? How do you actually understand what it meant to build what they were building? And so I kind of want to share this as an encouragement. You might be creating your sales page on the floor of your closet of your in-laws. I don't know. It doesn't matter. There's craziness all over. Or last week I had someone from Hawaii on my podcast, and she was literally sitting on the bedroom floor recording the session with me because her house is renovated, and I had a broken ring light, and it was dark and it was messy, and that doesn't matter as long as you truly still like keep going, show up, and believe in your vision. You can't fail, and it's gonna, there is a reward on the other end, and it is also sometimes really a test. Are you really wanting this? Are you meant? Yeah, are you made for this? And yeah, I absolutely went through a lot of tests and pressure testing, and can say that and the reason why I actually shared these steps too was because the podcast was one thing that I incredulously looked at and said, okay, a podcast now. It's the same with the retreat. So yes, I am also hosting retreats under this umbrella, and I had this vision of the retreat way before, and only now it's happening because I saw myself in a struggle situation. How am I going to host a retreat in Bali all by myself? As you know, like I shared before, I'm alone with my two boys, and there is no, we're now really new to this island. And so there's no network and no safety net and no one support system here for us. So in my head, I was always thinking, how am I going to host a retreat? But I need to host a retreat. I know it's part of it. So I was constantly in this pull of vision moving forward, and me having those doubts and these challenges. And then again, during meditation, it just came through that obviously it's not a host that it's not a retreat that I'm hosting. I'm just again, the podcast and the book series, I'm just the facilitator and the vessel, the visionary behind it, but it's a co-creation. So the minute when that sank in, I had women around me saying, I want to be a co-facilitator. I want to be part of this retreat. Let's make it happen. I have a personal assistant now helping me with the logistics, the organization. I have I have suddenly 20 people backing this project. I was like, oh yeah, of course. But this is again, now it's so logical. Now when I share it, I'm even like, duh, why didn't I see that before? But I wasn't able until I was leaning into it and was listening to my intuition again. So I guess you already know, my biggest hope for your audience and the listeners today is simply trusting yourself, trusting your intuition, and sometimes moving forward with the craziest ideas, even though you don't know how, but you can always make it happen, because when they feel kind of right,
Yeah,
then they are the ones that you should lean into. Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah. I think the other biggest takeaway I took from what you're sharing is that support is available. And I feel
Hmm.
as women, especially mothers in this day and age, the way that we don't really respect or value motherhood and mothers, and we're so segregated and disconnected and isolated, and we feel like we have to hold all the balls, we have to do all the things, and we don't
Hmm.
really have a community, and even our families, like everybody's busy. And so when you were sharing how the vision came through with the retreat and you're like, I don't, how am I going to do this? And then it came through that you're a facilitator, you're the visionary, and that you're going to co-create it. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, of course, I don't have to hold all of this on my own. And I feel like
Hmm.
so many women don't do the thing, or they don't move forward on the thing, or they don't trust themselves, or, source, creation, God, whatever they're referencing, to hold the vision with them, even
Hmm.
though they've had it on their hearts for who knows how long, because it's like,
Hmm.
how am I going to do this?
Hmm.
So I love
I
that.
know. And also I feel, because we come, from, or maybe in the past we've all experienced the competition side of things a lot. That is so ingrained. I feel in our generation, we grew up, okay, you always have to be the best. You always have to do it like better than the others. Don't share too much. And I also noticed that now that I am more connecting with like-minded women who are doing the same like I do, I open my spaces, I open my audience, I open up and say, of course, if I win, you win, or vice, if you win, I win. um, then it attracts more of these women, and that in itself is a change, and I would love to see that more, because it helps. Like it's just the way forward. I don't think um it's sustainable if we always think about only our own projects, businesses. um yeah, and I can totally see this in the Sovereign Mamas brands. I feel like there's more angels around me than humans right now. And everyone I'm sharing with is like, oh yeah, so supportive. So that's another, yeah, really point to maybe note down to yourself: where am I holding tight out of fear that someone could take away from me, versus trusting and giving, and also knowing that if you meet someone who doesn't have the right intention, then that was maybe part of a lesson you needed to learn, um, or you can help someone else to learn something.
Yeah, absolutely.
Situations.
Absolutely. I've been having these conversations lately around, because there are a lot of incredible, successful women doing
Mm,
incredible things. And even I've like circulated towards them and gravitated towards them, and I'm wanting to learn from them, understand what they're doing. Um, Most of them not having children, and then
mm,
just witnessing how they're growing their businesses and how it's very much aligned within the patriarchy. And it's not that that's wrong. It's just that
mm,
for me personally, I'm wanting to create or embody more matriarchal principles. So when it comes to growing my business, and it's always been my vision, yes, I want to make a shit ton of money. I absolutely want to make a shit ton of money. I want to learn how to make a shit ton of money in all the ways, not so that I can have a shit ton of money, but so that I can teach other mothers how they can make a shit ton of money, so that they don't have to go to work or send their kids to daycare, that they can be available. And so
mm,
when you're talking about, competition or comparing ourselves, I feel like a lot of women that are building incredible movements within the patriarchal systems using patriarchal principles, whilst it's an amazing shift forward, I also feel like we're needing to actually diversify. So it's not that what
mm,
they're doing is wrong. It's just that we need diversity, and we need more women who are able to actually hold the matriarchal principles.
Yeah, I really love that, and think that the more we're also fine-tuning for the mothers, like I said initially, we're like this sweet spot between someone who doesn't have children, and again, not to down look, but to just say it's a different situation. They're in a different season. They have different challenges, right? Versus us with children and doing the similar work. And it's actually not the same, because we will always prioritize our children, right? We will always needing to be available, and the business just comes second. But it doesn't mean that we can't build amazing businesses with a lot of also profit. And I know we're connected through Melanie and Layer, and one of the favorite quotes that she keeps repeating is, money in the hands of women like us is good for the world. And I so resonate with that. And I always think like, this is bigger than me, and the more I earn, the more I can give and expand and help others. And with this mindset and with this approach, I think you cannot fail.
I feel like the biggest takeaway that I'm getting from hearing your story and what you're here to do and what Sovereign Mamas is about is that as women and mothers, especially, we're commissioned with a vision for a reason. And so I feel like the work that you're doing with the book, the writing projects that you're doing, and the retreats. And do you offer one-to-one services or coaching, or what is the body of work that you offer women through Sovereign Mamas?
Yeah, too. I feel the main, like the anchor point of this movement is truly the Sovereign Spirit Mastermind, which is the foundational work that I've experienced for myself, and that I see is just the key. If you do not do the inner work as a mother, as a mompreneur, nothing can really work out. And so Sovereign Spirit was born with this intention to have a space where mompreneurs come and actually nourish that. So the personal development, frequency work, energy work, all the mindset things that might not have a place somewhere else. So if you go to a traditional business coaching program, you won't find that. You will not talk about your recalibration of identity and what it needs to fine tune, and all these things, all these topics that matter when you need them the most in the next level, like in these phases of becoming and steering unknown situations and movements that are new, right? And it's not a work for everyone, because you will only need it if you are a leader, if you are a visionary, and leading something bigger than you. But when you are this, then it's essential. And so that is a group program, but I always love to be one-on-one, because it's also so individual. So it's a hybrid form where people also get access to me one-on-one.
I love that. What is the greater purpose of Sovereign Mamas? We've heard a lot of the details, but like ultimately, where are we going with Sovereign Mamas? Where is it taking us?
So the whole point of this is rewriting the paradigm that you have to choose between motherhood and business, and paving the path for generations to come to basically have it easier for our daughters and our sons who are now witnessing us, with our devotion to our becoming. And that's why also the retreat is a village experience where the children and partners are a part of, so that they see, oh yeah, the mommy's doing their work, and they sit in circles and they sing and they dance and they laugh and they cry, and this is important and it's normal. And so Sovereign Mamas is here to normalize. It's that, inner work is part of the outer success, and that sisterhood is important, and with all these platforms that I'm building, it's basically giving a stage and an opportunity to share your story in a different angle, which you normally maybe not even would be sharing, because we're always pulling out the details that seem the most polished ones. And with Sovereign Mamas, I really want to come back to the raw and unfiltered truths, but these are the truths and the reasons why you are the person who you are today.
And creating a safe space for that to come forward. I
Exactly.
absolutely love that. I don't know that I've ever heard of or seen retreats where partners and children are welcome, but you're so right that even those of us, including me, that we're doing the work, we're doing the personal development, the spiritual development, the business development, whilst also building the business, the vision, whilst also parenting and trying to be a human. And then I find that I do a lot of that privately. So even though I'm modeling to my girls a different way of being, the actual work, the messy part of it, a lot of it can be done in private. And you saying that, I'm like, oh, there's probably a lot of value in them actually seeing the messy middle.
Exactly. Yes.
And so
yes, beautiful. Thank you for seeing that and reflecting that back. And that was like the number one feedback that I'm getting when I'm sharing the concept of this retreat. Because a lot of women go on retreats around the world. They come back, they feel so nourished, the cup is full, they've had breakthroughs, they are inspired now, and the family doesn't get it. And the children are like, I don't know, I'm still myself, but when you have them with you, I know, for some it's not what they want, because, oh no, I want to spend a week alone and really dedicate time to myself and be on my own. But at the same time, you can't really, like, when I'm away from my children, I always feel you're never disconnected, and it's just part of your reality. You're a mother always, right? And having the children with you, knowing that they are getting their cups filled because there is a dedicated kids program, and knowing that there's still enough time in the afternoons to like do the integration part, family time, making memories, and accepting the fact that, your children are part of you no matter what you're doing. You can't just like rip yourself off, do a little bit of healing, come back. That's not going to work. That's like you're neglecting the fact that you are always a mother. So letting them see you how you're doing it, and you be okay with, needing maybe to step out of your focus zone for one moment because your child needs you. That's okay. Like otherwise you're chasing perfectionism.
Yes.
And that
under a patriarchal guise.
Right.
Yeah. I have so much admiration and respect for you, because everything that I've been seeing, doing, working towards, the conversations that I've been having, that this retreat that you're creating and the thought that's going into it, the consideration, the realizations, it's like nothing I've ever heard before. And as you're speaking, I'm like, I know so many incredible women leaders who are doing incredible things, and a lot of them are mothers, and they talk about going on retreats or, doing the things or going to events for days at a time without their kids. And whilst I'm like, cool, like, I'm glad that you can do that, I'm like, I'm not leaving my kids. And then sometimes there's like an invitation to join, and I'll say things like, it's cross country, and I'm not leaving cross country without my kids, and they're young, and there's this kind of like, yeah, but don't you want to like do this thing for you? And I'm like, well, yeah, but no, like I'm not compromising on motherhood. I can, and now knowing that someone like you is creating these opportunities for someone like me, where I get to experience the power and the transformation of a retreat, but I don't have to neglect my values as a mother and a wife.
Exactly.
Makes my heart so happy.
Oh, me too. Oh, amazing.
This is so beautiful. Have you hosted one of these retreats yet, or is this your first that's coming up?
This is the first one in this, like with this framework. I've hosted in Thailand retreats for women only. And again, I made it happen with my boys. being taking care of friends. And so and when I did that and remembering it now, this was part of why I had to do it that way, so that now I can actually bring forward this idea and really stand by it, because I can't say I have, I'm the founder of the Sovereign Mamas movement and not include
Include them.
and include also my experience of how it was for me hosting a retreat as a single mother, having my children uh be separated from me. I made it happen, driving back and forth and bringing them to bed, bringing them in the morning to school, then show up, host the session, come back, and it's crazy. So I don't want to be doing that anymore. And so it's more like also for myself, so that I can be this fully centered host,
Present.
and knowing that there's beautiful women who are actually running the sessions, and I just get to be like there with my boys as well, and everyone who's there is like we're doing this together. So this is why, yes, it's going to be the first one in this form, but I already know, I'm so leaned back, and know it's going to be perfect. So yeah. Mm.
This is honestly matriarchal leadership right here. Like, I am blown away because I've not had anyone create something like this. I haven't heard of anyone create something like this. I haven't had this sort of conversation where we're actually shifting the value and prioritization of mothers and children on top of success and money and all the things that we're prioritizing within the patriarchal systems. And like valuing the matriarchal principles is literally valuing the children, the mother in the center, and then everyone's needs are met and catered for and supported. That allows like radical, rapid transformation, because we're not stressing like, oh, like I'm so far away from my kids, I can't stop thinking about them. Are they okay? They're crying, they're upset, they miss me. It's like, how am I showing up present in this retreat? Like, all I can think about is my kids. Like, it's not really doing what it needs to do. And so I just really have to emphasize what you're doing. Matriarchal leadership. It's like chef's kiss. I'm here for it.
Thank you.
When is the retreat happening?
It's in July from the 6th to the 12th.
Okay.
And yeah, beautiful Bali. We found the perfect venue. It's right on the beach. There's a pool, there's a fire pit. So we have like these evening gatherings. And so, yeah, we just did a photo shoot last week on the site, on the venue itself, to capture the type of it. And yeah, I can't wait, really. If you're free, obviously I would love to see you there, and anyone listening as well.
Well, I hope it's the first of many, and that
oh yeah, yes,
yeah, good, because then we can add all the links and people can follow you, and if they can't make the July one, then we know another one's coming. But
yeah, January next year. It's already there.
This is the work, ladies. Like, to the women and the mothers listening, like, this is what building a matriarchal society and community looks like, and your bravery and your courage to do it differently and actually just follow what doesn't make sense, but deep down you know it's the right thing to do. I absolutely adore you, and I thank you so much for sharing. And just to wrap it up, is there anything you want to share with women who are listening, and with mothers really who are going through it, in the thick of it, trying to figure it out, and it's hard? Like, hello me, hi, yeah, you got anything for me? It's hard, and yet we keep going because we have to.
Yeah, be compassionate with yourself and just practice patience. Like I think the biggest thing to adjust when you become a mother is just to slow down and be okay with that, because it's it's the person who you are when you are doing the things that is what matters, when no one's watching, when you're still gracious with your children, even though you're missing a deadline or you're messing up a podcast interview. The way you react with your children is going to be so much more important than the picture perfect moments when the spotlight is on you. So don't lose yourself and the integrity with yourself while you're building I think, yeah.
I feel called out and seen all at the same time.
Oh,
That has been my journey. Yeah. There have been times where I've lost my marbles at my girls because of all the things that you said. And in recent times, I've been intentional with slowing down and I noticed the difference. And so for any woman who is in the thick of it, I highly suggest you take that advice from Julia because it is 1000 billion% accurate. And if we're really going to get where we're going, then we have to, there's a saying, slow is smooth, smooth is fast. I learned that from a SEAL, a US SEAL sergeant, I don't know, someone high, ranked up high, and he's left and he's doing leadership, and he said that, and I was like, that makes so much sense. Slow is smooth, and then smooth becomes fast, and so trust.
But it only sinks in when you've been there,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. And you really know what this actually means.
Yes. I love it. Well, thank you so much. I have so many more questions, and at the same time, I feel like what you've shared here is so important. And maybe there's a part 2 coming. Especially after, oh my gosh, after your first retreat, it would be amazing to have you back to just really integrate and land in what that entire experience was like.
Totally. Yeah, I'd love that. Let's do it.
Yay, amazing. All right, lovely. Well,
you.
thank you so much for being here with us today, and I look forward to sharing this with everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here, gorgeous woman, for rising with us, remembering with us, and refusing to shrink inside a world that benefits from your silence. If this episode moved you, cracked you open, or reminded you of who the hell you are becoming, share it with a woman who is ready to rise too. I want to invite you to follow, subscribe, and leave a rating so this message becomes too loud, too wild, and too undeniable to be ignored. The movement grows because of women like you. Women who choose truth over comfort, liberation over obedience, and voice over disappearance. You can connect with me, Samantha Sanford, at Rebel Matriarch, and all links to our guest are in the show notes below. Until next time, stay rooted, stay rebellious, and remember, the world changes when women refuse to disappear.